SLT Mobitel, the connection.
නිවසේ මෙවැනි මත් පිට රැඳෙන විස බීජ 99.9%ක්ම විනාශ කරන විම් ක්ලීනර්ස්.
Tonight, new member of the family. Sinopharm vaccine rolled out in Sri Lanka following WHO approval.
We decided to initiate the vaccination with Chinese Sinopharm vaccine today itself.
High alert. The COVID-19 variant wreaking havoc in India detected in the island for the first time.
Indian variant and UK variant both behave similarly. There is no difference between UK and Indian variant.
21 Gram Niladari divisions, meanwhile, also isolated. For public safety, the Consumer Affairs Authority bans blending edible coconut oil with other oils. All that and much more coming up on First at 9, this Saturday, the 8th of May, 2020.
ඇල්කොහොල් අඩංගු hand sanitizer භාවිත කරන්න. ලෙඩ රෝග ඇති කරන විෂ බීජවලට එරෙහිව සටන් කරන්න.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammik Ekanaika. Now then, the Indian variant of the COVID-19 virus responsible for the catastrophic uptick in cases in the peninsula has been detected in Sri Lanka for the first time. The good news is that it had been found from an overseas arrival in quarantine. But experts say that there is little difference between the UK variant responsible for the island's third wave of the virus and the Indian variant, as both carry high mortality rates and transmissibility. What is clear, however, is that the health authorities are facing a daunting task to bring the present virus situation in Sri Lanka under control, especially with their warnings intended for the public falling on deaf ears, as the island confirmed its highest number of single-day COVID deaths last evening.
Once again, Sri Lanka reported COVID-19 infections in the excess of 1,900 yesterday. A total of 1,914 infections were confirmed across 22 districts. A similar figure was reported on the 4th of May. The Gampa district topped the list of daily COVID-19 infections yesterday with 591 cases, while 434 infections were reported from Colombo and 368 from Kalutara. It places the daily caseload of the Western Province yesterday at 1,393. Meanwhile, the Kurunagal district accounted for 127 COVID-19 infections, while Kandy reported 78, Ratnapura recorded 53, and Matale confirmed 35 cases. 32 infections each were reported from the districts of Kegol and Matara, and 24 cases were confirmed from Gaul. A further 115 novel coronavirus cases were reported from 12 other districts. There were also 25 imported cases among yesterday's overall caseload. As for today, 970 new COVID-19 cases have been confirmed so far. As the number of infections rise, the demand for dedicated treatment centers also increases. To address the situation, treatment centers are currently being set up in various districts. As part of this process, the Sri Lanka Army is currently converting a facility owned by apparel manufacturer Brandix in the area of Sidua into a COVID-19 treatment center. Once completed in a few days, the facility will be capable of treating 1,200 virus-infected patients. It is also tipped to become the largest COVID-19 treatment center in the country. In other developments, Director of the Department of Immunology and Molecular Medicine at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Dr. Chandima Jeevandara, revealed today that the Indian novel coronavirus strain has been detected in Sri Lanka.
From our analysis, we found that majority of the samples belong to the B117 England variant. We call it as Kent variant or UK variant. So more than 90% of the samples sequenced belong to a UK variant. Apart from that, we have two interesting findings. One is we have detected B1617, that is the Indian variant, and as well as B1351, that is the South African variant from the last sequencing analysis. So both Indian and South African variant were detected from quarantine centers. So those are from foreign returnees. Chinese. Apart from that, we have detected another variant from Jaffna area, that is B1428, that is mainly spreading in Denmark and European region. Apart from that, we had a Sri Lankan variant called B1411, that was the main variant responsible for most of the COVID-19 infections in the past, especially during the second wave.
Though Sri Lankan strain was responsible for the island's second wave of the pandemic, what has come to be known as the UK variant has become the dominant variant in the country at present, overtaking the Sri Lankan variant. The expert opinion is that though the Indian strain is also detected in the island, there is little difference between behaviors of that and the UK variant of COVID-19.
Indian variant and UK variant both behave similarly. UK variant is the predominant one found in Sri Lanka, and it is associated with increased mortality as well as increased transmissibility. So it's very important to understand, although we have detected the Indian variant from one sample in Sri Lanka, the majority of the infections currently are caused by the UK variant, which is one of the main variants of concern in the world. So there is no difference between UK and Indian variant when it comes to the transmissibility, because both has increased transmissibility compared to the wild type virus.
It is quite clear that the UK variant currently doing the rounds in the island clearly has a high mortality rate than the Sri Lankan variant. 19 COVID-19 related fatalities were confirmed yesterday. It is the highest number of fatalities to have been confirmed in a single day in Sri Lanka since the inception of the pandemic. 6 of the victims had been suffering from underlying health conditions before suffering complications brought on by COVID-19. From the 19 COVID-19 deaths confirmed yesterday, 15 victims had been above the age of 55. The rest had been 45, 50, 53 and 54 years of age. In the meantime, after the recovery of 1,335 COVID-19 patients were confirmed today, the overall number of recoveries in the island stood at 103,098. That leaves 18,546 active cases in Sri Lanka.
Now, Sri Lanka's immunization efforts received a evening with the World Health Organization approving China's Sinopharm vaccine for emergency use. And today it was administered to Sri Lankans. Now, the island had a consignment of the jab in storage following a donation from China in March.
As things stand, vaccinating a country's populace is considered the only effective way to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. Sri Lanka rolled out its inoculation program against the virus on the 29th of January this year, and it has been making steady progress. The first vaccine to get the National Medicines Regulatory Authority's approval for emergency use in the island was the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. On Tuesday, it also approved Russia's Sputnik V vaccine, while Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was approved yesterday morning. With India's pandemic situation turning to the worse, it became evident that India's Serum Institute will no longer be able to provide Sri Lanka with the promised volumes of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine doses within the required time. Then again, the island also had a consignment of 600,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine donated by China. But owing to the lack of approval from the World Health Organization, the jab could not be given to Sri Lankan people. That, however, changed last evening.
WHO gave emergency use listing to Sinopharm Beijing's COVID-19 vaccine, making it the 6th vaccine to receive WHO validation for safety, efficacy and quality. This expands the list of vaccines that come by and gives countries confidence to expedite their own regulatory approval and to import and administer a vaccine. The Strategic Advisory Group of experts on immunization has also reviewed the available data and recommends the vaccine for adults 18 years and older with a 2-dose schedule.
The WHO had also previously given approval for the Moderna, Pfizer-BioNTech, Johnson & Johnson, Oxford AstraZeneca and Covishield vaccines. China-manufactured Beijing Sinopharm vaccine has been attested to have an efficacy rate of 75% and has been approved and used in 40 countries worldwide. As such, Sri Lanka also did not hesitate to commence inoculations using the Sinopharm vaccine. Though State Minister of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals, Professor Chandra Sumana, said yesterday that the Sinopharm jab will be rolled out next week, the start was much sooner than expected.
World Health Organization has listed Chinese produced Sinopharm vaccines as an emergency use COVID-19 vaccine yesterday. We decided to initiate the vaccination with Chinese Sinopharm vaccine today itself at Panadura MOH office. Further, we had discussions with His Excellency the Chinese Ambassador to Colombo. He promised us that they are willing to send us more Sinopharm vaccines to Sri Lanka. And at the moment, we are vaccinating with 3 COVID-19 vaccines, Oxford AstraZeneca, Sputnik and Sinopharm.
In the meantime, the Sinopharm vaccine was also administered to persons in the areas of Mattakolya and Jinthupitiya in Colombo today. Meanwhile, the country has currently administered the first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine to 925,242 persons and the second dose to 187,775. The Russian Sputnik 5 vaccine has also been administered to 1,669 persons in the country so far. In other developments, taking to Twitter, the Chinese embassy said that they are working with Sri Lankan authorities to encourage biotech companies in Sri Lanka and China to collaborate in filling and finishing Sinopharm vaccines in Sri Lanka.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the relevant officials to expedite both the import procedures and administering COVID-19 vaccines to the public. The President's media division said that the head of state emphasized that the maximum number of COVID-19 shots should be given within a short period of time during a discussion held with the COVID-19 committee yesterday. The committee meets daily at the Presidential Secretariat. The President had also highlighted the importance of paying special attention to the Western province, which is largely responsible for the spread of the virus, while noting that China's Sinopharm vaccine has been successfully administered to more than 55 million people in 51 countries. The President had further instructed the officials to hold the discussions with the health authorities of those countries to explore the possibility of administering the vaccine expeditiously. The PMD also noted that negotiations are already underway to obtain vaccines from countries where there is an excess of AstraZeneca jab. The lackadaisical attitude of some members of the public towards the risks posed by the COVID-19 virus is such that the police made a record number of arrests over health and safety protocol violations yesterday. Now, the chief offences are failure to wear face masks properly and failure to maintain social distancing. What's more, a further 21 Grama Niladhari divisions across 5 districts were placed under isolation to curb the spread of the virus today.
The frivolous behaviour of the people during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year directly contributed to the prevailing rise in COVID-19 cases. That indiscipline has now led to the cancellation of the 2021 State Vesak Festival, scheduled to be held at Nagadipa Temple in Jaffna. Secretary to the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Professor Kapila Gunawardena, however, says that plans will be made to hold the festival at another location in the future. The indifference of the people to the dangers of COVID-19 has resulted in the country having to take 2 steps backwards after attempting to take 1 forward. In Bandaravela, measures were taken by Mayor Janaka Nishanta to temporarily close the area's weekly market from tomorrow. The move was prompted by the prevailing COVID-19 situation. In the meantime, taking into account the risk that prevails in the Horana MOH division, its residents have handed over a letter to their medical officer of health requesting that the division be placed under isolation. The letter is also signed by all the public health inspectors in the area. It was also referred to the Kaluthara District Coordinating Committee for COVID-19 control. The police, meanwhile, is continuing to crack down on health regulation violators. What's surprising is that even after the obvious surge in daily caseload and deaths, some people still adopt a lackadaisical attitude towards their own safety and others. During a special operation, the Paliyagoda police arrested a group of people who were having a party in the area of Bakinigaha Pillava. Also in Paliagoda, the police arrested a group using drugs and consuming alcohol at a house in the area of Poranavatta. In Kandy, the police launched a raid after being tipped off that about 50 people are gathered inside a liquor store, disregarding health and safety protocols being put in place. All those present at the liquor store were arrested by the police. In other areas too, people were seen disregarding health and safety protocols, with the police having to come down hard on them. The errant behavior of the public has seen the police making a record number of arrests yesterday alone.
Yesterday, we arrested the highest number of suspects within a period of 24 hours since the 30th of October 2020 to date. We have arrested 617 suspects in connection with the offences of face mask and social distancing, and total number of 6,539 suspects have been arrested in connection with the offences of face mask and social distancing. This number includes 342 suspects who have been arrested in the Colombo city since 5 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the night. In addition to that, a special operation has been conducted in Colombo central area, and 119 suspects have been arrested in connection with the offences of face mask and social distancing. And if they are found guilty of the charges, the court could impose a 6 months rigorous imprisonment. In addition to that, a 10,000 rupee fine.
In the meantime, 21 Grama Niladhari divisions in 5 districts entered into a state of isolation today, and it will be in effect until further notice. In the Colombo district, the Grama Niladhari divisions of Nivanthiriya and Mampe East that come under the Piliandala police area were isolated. In the Maharagama police area, the Aravvala West Grama Niladhari division was also placed under isolation. In the Gampaha district, the Grama Niladhari divisions of Keravalapitiya, Vattala, Palliyavatta South and Hekitta that come under the jurisdiction of the Vattala police area entered the state of isolation. In the police area of Mahabage, the Grama Niladhari divisions of Kerangapokuna and Gal Udapita as well as Mattumagala were also isolated. Meanwhile, in the district of Kalutara, Vijitamavata of the Nagoda South Grama Niladhari division, Bosiripura in Vidyasara Grama Niladhari division, Mahavaskaduwa North Grama Niladhari division and the Grama Niladhari division of Yatadolavatta West in the village of Koratuhena were isolated. In the Gaul district, the Grama Niladhari divisions of Koggala 1, Koggala 2, Meegahagoda, Maliyagoda and Piyadigama West that belong to the Habaraduwa police area also entered isolation. A couple of Grama Niladhari divisions in the district of Jaffna too were isolated. They are namely Kodikamam Centre and Kodikamam North that come under the jurisdiction of Kodikamam police area. Meanwhile, there was some reprieve from some people as several Grama Niladhari divisions in the Kurunegala and Ampara districts were brought out of isolation today. Accordingly, out of the 82 isolated Grama Niladhari divisions in the Kuliapitiya police area in the Kurunegala district, 63 Grama Niladhari divisions were brought out of isolation. The remaining Grama Niladhari divisions remain under isolation until further notice. In the Ampara district, the Grama Niladhari division of Kumarigama that comes under the Uhana police area was also brought out of isolation today.
We will see you shortly after this break. Bear with us. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, the Consumer Affairs Authority has published an extraordinary Gazette notification banning blending of edible coconut oil with other oils. Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Major General Shanta Disanaga, said that the relevant direction comes into effect from the 7th of May. As per the Gazette, all importers, refiners, manufacturers, stockists, packers, distributors and traders of edible coconut oil sold in bulk or retail in bottles, packs or containers are barred from blending them with other oils. The Navy has seized over 235 kilograms of Kerala cannabis and around 522 kilograms of onion seeds attempted to be smuggled into Sri Lanka via sea routes. The bust had been made yesterday during patrols conducted in northwestern and western waters of the island. During a patrol in the seas of Kudramale Point, the Navy had spotted an Indian fishing vessel in Sri Lankan waters across the international maritime boundary line with 7 Indian nationals on board. A search of the vessel had led to the seizure of over 235 kilograms of Kerala cannabis in 118 packages. In a separate patrol in the seas of Negombo, the Navy had intercepted a suspicious dinghy and had taken hold of about 522 kilograms of onion seeds in 20 packages. Due to the concerns over transmission of COVID-19, the consignment of Kerala cannabis had been set on fire and the 7 Indian nationals were repatriated to their home waters. The 2 suspects, together with the haul of onion seeds and the dinghy, meanwhile, had been handed over to the Customs Preventive Office in Katunayaka. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, the central bank says that the payment of additional compensation under the Sri Lanka Deposit Insurance and Liquidity Support Scheme for the eligible depositors or relevant legal beneficiaries of eligible deposits of Swarna Mahal Financial Services PLC will commence from Monday the 10th. The eligible depositors or relevant legal beneficiaries can collect their claims from any People's Bank branch commencing from Monday by producing the relevant documents. The central bank advises them to avoid gathering in large numbers at the People's Bank premises and to strictly comply with health and safety guidelines. Official data shows that China's total imports and exports expanded 28.5% year-on-year to 11.62 trillion yuan, which is equivalent to about $1.8 trillion in the first 4 months of 2021. This marks an increase of 21.8% from the pre-pandemic level in 2019. Exports jumped 33.8% from a year earlier, while imports climbed 22.7% in yuan terms. The trade surplus increased 149.7% to reach 1.02 trillion yuan in the January to April period. China's imports and exports totaled 3.15 trillion yuan in April alone. This marks a year-on-year increase of 26.6% and month-on-month growth of 4.2%. In April, the trade surplus narrowed 12.4% from a year earlier to 276.5 billion yuan. A Chinese official said the growth indicates great strategic achievements China has made in coordinating pandemic control and economic and social development. He added that it also shows the superpower's effective policies for stabilizing foreign trade. India today reported its highest ever single-day COVID-19 death toll as cases continued to rise and states imposed stricter lockdowns. India's health ministry reported 4,187 fatalities over the past 24 hours, taking the overall death toll to just under 240,000. Tamil Nadu, known for its automobile manufacturing, stated that it would move from a partial lockdown to a full lockdown on Monday, stopping public transport and shutting state-run alcohol retailers. Neighbouring Karnataka state, meanwhile, extended a total shutdown late yesterday. In the meantime, in Pakistan, the country imposed a nationwide lockdown today and it will stay in place for the next 10 days. The Pakistani government has already declared May 8th to 15th as Eid holiday, and now there will be a complete ban on unnecessary movement of people and gathering of any kind at any place during these 10 days of lockdown. The country reported 120 COVID-19 related fatalities today, taking the national death toll to 18,797. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.